Hey guys, today I'm planting up a vertical planter and I'm using the GroVert system, which I used earlier this year. It was like January or February I planted this thing up first. I used succulents, but it kind of got neglected a little bit during our move. Aaron and I moved to a new house in May, but it was kind of a long drawn out process. Anyway, this thing ended up on the floor in the not the proper amount of light. So I ended up taking out all the succulents, most of which are okay. I ended up being able to root them. They're in my sunroom right now, happy and rooting. But I thought it would be a good chance to plant it up with something different. So since it's getting colder out at night, we're going into winter, I decided houseplants would be a really fun thing to use because I really haven't focused a whole lot on houseplants, but I love them. You know, it's one of those things down at the nursery that I'm actually in charge of. I do all of our houseplant ordering and do a lot of, my mom and I both, we take care of them. So it's one of those things that I really do have a passion for and I want to do more of. So let me tell you what plants I have here. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but I have an asparagus fern here, which I love the texture of, and that's basically the reason why I picked this one, because it's a very different texture than all the rest. There's a purple velvet plant, which the color on this thing is amazing. I had two of them, but I used one just the other day in our urban fairy garden, which we just uploaded. So I only have one of those. Not sure if I'm going to use that because I don't know if it'll look good just to have one. We'll see. And then I've got three variegated ivy, which ivy is one of my favorites. I mean, give me an ivy topiary and I'm happy. These will look really pretty, I think, just kind of draping down. And then on this side of the table, I have three sansevierias. They're also known as snake plants or mother-in-law tongue. They're a really low maintenance houseplant, and I love the structure of them. These are really low rosette. There's a specific name for these. There's different types of sansevierias. Some get really tall and really strappy vertical leaves, and these ones stay a little bit lower, a little bit more rosette shaped. And then I have a neon pothos, which these are also a really low maintenance houseplant. I picked these because look at this. That is such a pretty combination. And this one will also trail and be really pretty. So this is what I'm going to do. Before I plant it, I guess I should show you a little bit about what this GroVert is like. So this is a pretty cool system because it's got individual pockets. There's 10 of them here. I may not be planting all of them just because some of these plants are really big. So some of them I might be stuffing full of moss instead of putting a plant in, but they're all slanted, which is great. So your plants won't fall out immediately when you plant it. You can plant it up and hang it pretty much almost the same day. So, and then right in the back, there's a place where you can water. So you don't have to take it off the wall when you water. You just water from the top and then it trickles down, and then there's a little reservoir right under here. And there's a little cork in it. So if you've got any excess water, you can take the cork out, put a little bowl under it, gather the water, put the cork back in, you're good to go. So I thought I would mention that so you knew kind of how this thing worked. So I've got my potting soil. I'm just going to start in and plant. And I think we'll speed this part up just because I am terrible at multitasking and talking while I'm working. So here we go. Okay, so before I tip this thing up and show you how it looks, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, the moss I used. So this is called decorator's moss. Let me show you the bag. I used this one just because it's cheaper. I usually use super moss, the preserved sheet moss. That's my absolute favorite, especially if you're going to be seeing it like as a soil top dress, because it maintains its deep green color. But this one, obviously you're not seeing it, so I don't care if it looks brown. I usually use a silver bowl. You probably saw that while I was working, filled with water, and I dip the moss in there, get it wet, wring it out, and then I can form it around the base of the plant on top of the soil, and that helps keep the soil in and moisture in. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about as well was this plant right down here had a little bit of a lanky stem, and I really do want a little bit more bulk up toward the top. So I just popped this one off, and you can see that right along the stem here, there's little bumps Those are called nodes, and that's where the leaf meets the stem, and those little nodes will form new roots. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stick it in right up here up top, just so that those nodes hit the soil, and I'm gonna tuck a little moss around the base to hold it in. And this plant will take off, it'll root, and it'll grow great. So I will make sure to kind of focus a little bit more on this one as opposed to the rest of them when I water, to make sure that this one stays moist until it's rooted. Okay, moment of truth. We stay in. Oh. Okay, so now that it's tipped up, you can see what all the plants look like, all the colors and textures. I think that the mix is really good. One thing I didn't take into account was I didn't tip the plants up slightly, which you kind of want them facing slightly up instead of slightly down, and I didn't take that into account when I was back here. It's so hard to plant from behind, so I feel like I'm slightly at a disadvantage. So I'll probably get my fingers in there and just tip the root balls a little bit so all the plants are facing up, and then it will be perfect. But yeah, so now all I need to do is go find a place to hang it, and we'll show you where that ends up, where it ends up going, and then we'll get some pictures of it and put them at the end of the video. And as always, we will put links in the description or comment section below of all the plants I use, the GroVert system here, so you can go check them out online. If you're not subscribed to our channel, we'd really appreciate if you would do that. Give us a thumbs up down below, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.